Hey beauties. Well, here we are in changing times. We are being faced with technological advances that are going very quickly, with conflicts that are developing very quickly. It's a kind of world where many people are now struggling or they are consistently disassociating to get by. But just like the world is evolving and going faster, so are bodies of information and knowledge. I'm somebody who always likes to be on the cutting edge of what's available, and these are my top 3 psychological tools for changing times. Number 1, equanimity. What do I mean by equanimity? You've probably already heard a lot about regulation, which is a wonderful tool. We now realize that the body can be a source of greater change than the mind. It's very hard to change the mind with the mind, and the body is a better pathway in many situations. But self-regulation, regulating the nervous system, can be a roller coaster. We go up and then we go down. We're triggered, we regulate, and then we're back triggered. So equanimity is the ability to be present and calm no matter what life throws at us. Of course, that's a very advanced tool that very few accomplish perfectly in their lifetime. Even if you're a monk meditating in a cave, you can be triggered. But it's a worthwhile endeavor, because even if we learn to develop a certain level of equanimity, it is life-changing. But again, self-regulation isn't actually enough. What I've found is necessary is to also change the soundtrack of our mind, the inner soundtrack, change the voice that speaks to us. Now, in the past, we thought that took decades of therapy, but I have discovered tools that mean that can happen quite quickly. Self-regulation combined with changing the soundtrack of your mind leads to equanimity. The second power tool is presence. And not just presence, but ultra presence. Just like self-regulation has become very popular, mindfulness and meditation has also become very popular, and not surprising, because when we become present to what is, we are then not stuck in the future, which is anxiety, or the past. We're not fixated on the past, which is depression. But again, it can be a roller coaster, just like we talked about with regulation. What happens is we practice mindfulness or we meditate and we feel good, and then we're triggered, and then we feel calm because we do 20 more minutes of meditation, and then an hour later we're triggered. We have presence, but we don't have consistent presence. So the tools that I've been working with are to develop a more consistent presence, and that involves learning to more quickly access that greater mind. It used to take me a very long time in meditation to achieve that completely open, benevolent feeling that I call the greater mind. But I've developed the tools so that you can start to access that quickly, and with practice very quickly, so you can start to live your days from an ultra-present state. The third power tool that I'm working with is advanced intuition. Intuition is an incredible tool. I'm not sure why more therapists have not embraced it and integrated it with client work, because when we develop our intuition, we are less likely to make choices that lead to us being triggered. We listen to ourselves more, so we're making more positive choices for ourselves. And intuition has also evolved. I have now developed methods where I use my entire body as an intuitive tool. And we can also change the lens that we're using our intuition from. If we look at the identity we're focusing on before we start working with our intuition, we can get better answers. For example, I talked about the greater mind when I mentioned ultra presence. If we're in our greater mind before we use our intuition, we get answers that can really align with our greatest good. So equanimity, ultra presence, and advanced intuition. Those are my 3 power tools for changing times. If those are of interest to you, check the links below to see if I'm currently accepting new clients, and you'll also see my courses which integrate these tools.